Assalamualaikum and a very good day everyone. We are students from BWBB3063 International Trade and Finance. We are going to present our topic 6 about understanding UCP 600. Let's continue our presentation. Enjoy guys!
Hello, Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. Very good day to you, Sir Syahrir. My name is Putra Zohaili Ahmad bin Putra Zohazrani, matric number 273477, and I'll be the first presenter for my group. So today I'm going to talk about UCP 600 introduction. So what is UCP 600? So UCP 600 stands for the Uniform Customs and Practice for Documentary Credit. So UCP 600 is a set of rules agreed by the International Chamber of Commerce, which apply to finance institutions which issue letters of credit, financial instruments helping companies to finance and trade. Many banks and lenders are subject to this regulation, which aims to standardize international trade, reduce the risk of trading goods and service, and govern trade. So in UCP 600, there are 39 articles that are comprehensive and practical working, aid to bankers, lawyers, importers, exporters, transport executives, educators, everyone involved in the letter of credit transaction worldwide. So right now we're going to talk a little bit about the history of UCP itself. So the first version of UCP was introduced in 1923, which is UCP 82. It has been revised 6 times to keep pace with the market needs and practices. So in 1951, there was UCP 151. In 1962, there was UCP 222. In 1974, there was UCP 290. In 1983, there was UCP 400. And the last one that we revised is 1993, which is UCP 500, and the latest version, which is in 2007, known as UCP 600. So it was first published in 2006, but first implemented on the 1st July of 2007. So UCP 600 is a fruit of more than 3 years by the International Chamber of Commerce (ICC) Commission on Banking Technique and Practice. One of the most important objectives of UCP 600 is providing easier language and addressing the progress to various industries to unify the interpretation and application of documentary credits. So the main thing that is considered in the making of UCP 600 is the first one is addressing developments in banking, transport and insurance industries. The second one is to provide easier language and style to remove wordings that could lead to inconsistent application and interpretation. And then for the third one is reviewing ICC opinions, DOC decisions. So for the last one is considering the incorporation of our relationship with ISBP 645, URR 525, ISP 98, and EUCP. So why was UCP 600 was introduced? So it was introduced to replace the former one, which is the UCP 500 on the 1st July of 2007. It was brought about to standardize a set of rules aiming to benefit all parties during a trade finance transaction. UCP 600 was created by industry experts and mandated by the Banking Commission rather than through legislation. The first UCP was created in 1923, has been revised by ADC up to the point of UCP 600.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Al-Fadlah binti Mazaudi, matric number 263577. Okay, today I will present for my part is about comparison with UCP 500 and UCP 600. Okay, We can see first for UCP 500 is about new terminology, concept and wording introduced, reorganization of the rule, substantive and cosmetic change, and last improve clarity yet created a new ambiguity. Okay, they have three component what's not changed for UCP 500 is first is irrevocable, second independent, and last documentary. Okay, next. Okay, let's see for comparison UCP 600 and UCP 500. Okay, for the first is you can see for UCP 600, Article 2 for definition, Article 3 for interpretation, advising of credit and amendment, and Article 12 nomination, Article 50 complying presentation, and last Article 70 for original document and copies. Okay, let's look at for your comparison UCP 500. You can see that for Article 5 instruction to issue and amend, Article 6 for credit revocable, Article 12 incomplete or unclear instruction, and last for Article 38 other document. Okay, for no change from UCP 500 legal status, you can see that rule apply to LC by incorporation, rule may be overriding by express, and last, rule are subject to interpretation by national court. Next. Okay, in this video also I want to present for overview of UCP 600 for Article 1. Okay, for Article 1 means that applicable when the credit expressly indicate that is subject to this rule, means that swift change have been made to bring in line. Okay, Article 1 use of swift. For E, applicable rule UCP latest version. Okay, for Article 1 also use of select or letter. This credit is subject to the Uniform Costume and Practice for Documentary Credit 2007 revision ICC publication number 600. This credit is subject to UCP 600. Next. Okay, let's continue for Article 1. Binding on all parties unless modified or excluded by the term of the letter of credit (LC). Contrary to Article 32 of the UCP, this credit remain valid for subsequent installment despite any shipment or drawing not made within the period lower. Okay, for sub-article Article 28 does not apply. Document must not be dated earlier than the date of the issuance of the credit. Okay, next. Okay, I also want to describe for overview of UCP 600 Article 2. Okay, Article 2 means that certain terms are defined so that they provide reference when such terms are used in the article. Okay, we have three. For the first is advising bank applicant, and for the third is banking day beneficiary, and third is compliant presentation conforming bank credit. Okay, for in the Article 2 also we have H, I, and P. Okay, means that H for honor, I for issuing bank, and N for negotiation nominated bank, P for presentation and presenter. Okay, next. Okay, let's continue with Article 2 also. First is for honor. There we have two columns. First is side payment, deferred payment acceptance, and second is pay at side. Okay, for side payment, deferred payment acceptance, for column pay at side is incurred deferred payment undertaking pay at maturity, and second for asset bill of exchange pay at maturity. Okay, second for negotiation. Negotiation means that purchased by the nominated bank of draft and or document under a complying presentation. Okay, second for by advising or agreeing to advance fund to beneficiary on or before the banking day on which reimbursement is due to the nominated bank. Okay, next. Okay, last overview of UCP 600 for Article 2. For nominated bank. Nominated bank means that the bank which the credit is available or any bank in the case of freely available credit. Okay, let's look at for the diagram that I create. First is issue bank. Issue bank issue for advising bank for advising and go to beneficiary. Beneficiary go to the nominated bank. LC available with any bank. Any bank is a nominated bank and going to nominated bank for restricted LC, bank name and the LC. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Syamimi binti Cik Musa, metric number 262889. So I will continue the presentation for overview of UCP 600 for Article 3. So for Article 3 is about interpretation. In this article is explained about a credit is irrecoverable even if not indication to that effect. Next is also for determining maturity date. The words from and after exclude the date mentioned. For example, 30 days from shipment dates equal to 30 days after shipment dates. For the next example is shipment date is 1 August 2007 and is equal to maturity date 31 August 2007. Okay, next for Article 3 is for determining a period of shipment. The words from and after have a different meanings. For example, for from include the date mentioned and after is exclude the date mentioned. For example, shipment to be affected from August 10 is equal to earliest shipment date is August 10. While for shipment to be affected after August 10 is the earliest date is August 11. Okay, next. Okay, next is for overview of UCP 600 for Article 4. Article 4 is about credits versus contracts. In this article, it is explained independence principle, which is LC is separate transaction from the underlying contract. Also, banks should discourage any attempt to include contract as integral part of LC. Details are per contract number 1 to 3, which is appended and forms an integral part of the credit. Next is for overview of UCP 600 for Article 5. Article 5 is about documents, goods or services or performances. In this article, it explains that bank deals with documents and not with the goods, service or performance to which the document may relate. In credit operation, all parties concerned deal with documents and not with goods, service and other performance to which the documents may relate. Next is overview of UCP 600 Article 6. In this Article 6 is explained about expiry date and place for presentation. For expiry dates is all about all last day for presentation of documents, and for place for presentation is bank with which the LC is available, any bank if the LC is available with any bank and issuing bank. LC available with any bank or LC available with bank XYZ. For place presentation, it could be any bank, any issuing bank, or for the second is bank XYZ and the issuing bank. Next, for overview of UCP 600 article, for Article 7 is about issuing bank undertaking, and for Article 8 is about confirming bank undertaking. For Article 9, it is advising of credits and amendments. Under explanation about Article 9 is by advising an LC, the advising bank signifies it is without any undertaking to honor or negotiate. It has certified itself as the apparent authenticity of the LC or amendment. The last is the advice accurately reflect the LC's terms and conditions. Next is Article 10. Article 10 is about amendments. Confirming banks must inform issuing banks of election not to extend confirmation to an amendment and may advise beneficiary of amendment without its confirmation. Next is partial acceptance is equal to notice of rejection. Next is disregard any provision that the amendment shall be enforced unless rejected by beneficiary within certain time. And last is presentation that complies with the credit and not yet accepted amendment deemed to be beneficiaries acceptable of amendment. The next overview of UCP 600 article is for Article 11. It is about tariff transmitted and pre-advised credit and amendments. For Article 12, it is nomination. In this Article 12, it explains about nomination does not obligate nominated bank to honor. By nominating a bank to accept a draft or incur a deferred payment undertaking, and issuing bank authorize the nominated bank to prepay or purchase a draft accepted or a deferred payment undertaking incurred by that nominated bank. For example, LC available with Citibank by deferred payment at 90 days after date of shipments. Okay, so that Citibank is authorized to first is incur a deferred payment undertaking, and they have to prepay its DPU, which is meant for payment before maturity. Okay, the next overview of UCP 600 article. For Article 13, bank-to-bank reimbursement agreements, and for Article 14 is about standards for examination of documents. In Article 14, it explains about why people must examine document on their face to determine compliance, and the other than the commercial invoice, description of goods, services or performance may be stated in general terms. Disregard documents not required by LC and may be not written disregard non-documentary condition. The documents may be dated prior to issuance date of LC but not later than the date of presentation. Okay, for the continuation of overview about Article 14, for UCP 500, it is reasonable time not to exceed 7 banking days following the days of receipt of document. But in UCP 600, a maximum of 5 banking days following day of presentation, not curtailed or affected by other events. Okay, for the presentation period, presentation including an original transport document must be made not later than 21 calendar days after date of shipment. For transport document, must subject to the Article 19 to 25, which is my friend will explain about it. For the data not conflicting, data in a document must not conflict with data in that document, other stipulated document or DLC. Okay, next about Article 14, it is unspecified issuer or content. Other than invoice, transport document or insurance document, bank will accept the document if 1. This content appear to fulfill that function, and 2. It complies. For example, AC calls for inspection certificate. Okay, for addresses of beneficiary and applicant, need not be the same between stipulated document and credit, but must be within the same country as in the credit. Disregard contact details of beneficiary and applicant, for example, fax, phone, email, it is stated in the credit. However, if they form part of consignee or an notified party details in transport document, applicant's contact details must be as stated in the credit. And for the continuation of Article 14, shipper, consignor, transport document issuer. Shipper or consignor of goods indicate on any documents need not be the LC beneficiary but must be consistent among the documents. And last but not least, in Article 14 about transport document may be issued by party other than carrier, owner, master, catered, provided it meet the requirements of Article 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 or 24. Okay, for Article 15 is about courier receipt, post receipt, and certificate of posting. Next is overview of UCP 600 for Article 16. Article 16 is about description, documents, waiver and notice. And in this article is about nominated or conforming or issuing bank may refuse to honor or negotiate description document. Issuing bank in its sole judgment approach applicant for waiver. A notice of refusal must be given no later than close of the 5th banking day following day of presentation. After providing notice of refusal, the bank may return documents to presenter at any time. The continuation of Article 16 in single notice of refusal must state the bank is refusing to honor or negotiate each discrepancy in respect of the refusal and one of the following. The bank is holding document pending presenters further instruction. The issuing bank is holding documents until it receive waiver from applicants and agree to accept it or receive further instruction from presenter prior to agreeing to accept the waiver. The bank is returning the documents and the bank is acting in accordance with instruction previously received from the presenter. That's all from me. My friend will continue their presentation. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Rubai Amir bin Mahmud. My matric number 273228. And now I will present about article from UCP 600. The article 70, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 34, 38 and 31. So, Article 70, original document and copy. So at least this document must at least one original document must be presented. So the bank shall treat as an original any document bearing an apparently original signature, mark, stamp or label of the issuer of the document, unless the document itself indicates that it is not an original. If a credit require presentation of copy of document, so the presentation of the original copy is permitted. Next article 18. Article 18 is commercial invoice. So invoice amount in excess of letter of credit. So issued by beneficiary, name of application not be signed. The description of goods, service or performance must be correspond with letter of credit description. So next article is about the transport article. This is a transport article. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in my part. 7 article in my part. So first article is article 19. Article 19 is transport document covering at least 2 different modes of transport. This article it explains about name of carrier, signed by carrier and master of name agent. And article 20 is about bill of lading. Article 21 non-negligible fee waiver. So the article indicate name of carrier. If signed by master, name of master is not necessary. If signed by agent, need to who or specific for whom. Article 22, chartered party bill of lading. It's subject to a charter party. If signed by master owner, charter owner or charter, their name are not necessary. If signed by agent, need specific for whom. Same like before. Part of discharge show as range of parts, ports or geographical area. Okay, Article 24, road, rail or inland waterway transport document. In rail, if not identify the carrier, any signature or stamp of railway company is accepted as being signed by the carrier. The duplicate document are accepted, but in road, the original document. Next article, a transport document. So this document must indicate name of carrier, signed by agent, indicate that agent has signed for behalf of the carrier. The article must have a date of issuance. Article 28, insurance document and coverage. So this about insurance. So in insurance document, it has a insurance policy, insurance certificate. This document issued and signed by insurance company, underwriter or agent or their proxies. Signature by agent or proxy indicate as been for or on behalf of insurance company or underwriter. So last article in my part is partial drawing of shipping. This allowed. So letters of the shipment date as date of shipment. So that's all for.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Hidayanti Azmi binti Ahmad Rudin. My metric number is 273219. Okay, for the next slide, we will go through about overview UCP 600 on article 32 until article 39. Okay, in article 32 is about installment drawing or shipment. In this article stated that if a drawing or shipment by installment within given period is stipulated in the credit and any installment is not drawn or shipped within the period allowed for the installment, the credit ceases to be available for that and any subsequent installment. Failure on the part of the beneficiary to do so could result in a financial or other risk to the applicant. Okay, next is about article 33, which is hours of presentation. Okay, in this article 33, which is about hours of presentation, stated that a bank has no obligation to accept a presentation outside of its banking hours. This article is applicable if the credit is silent in respect to the hours of presentation and impacts on all other articles or sub-articles in UCP 600 that address presentation. This article also allows a bank to decline any presentation made outside of its stated banking hours, regardless of whether it is a banking day, for the purpose of an act subject to the rules to be performed, or on a day that the banking mail receiving unit is open, but a non-banking day for the purpose of UCP 600. Whether or not a presentation is allowed outside the banking hours of the trade department of a bank is for the bank to decide itself. Okay, next is about overview UCP 600 on article 34. Okay, article 34 is about disclaimer on effectiveness of documents. a bank assumes no liability Okay, next is about overview UCP 600 Article 34. In Article 34 is about disclaimer on effectiveness of documents. In this article stated that a bank assumes no liability or responsibility for the form, sufficiency, accuracy, genuineness, falsification, or legal effect of any document, or for the general or particular conditions stipulated in a document or superimposed thereon. Nor does it assume any liability or responsibility for the description, quantity, weight, quality, condition, packaging, delivery, value or existence of the goods, service or other performance represented by any document, or for the good faith or act or omission, solvency, performance or standing of the consignor, the carrier, the forwarder, the consignor or the insurer of the goods or any other persons. The next is about overview on Article 35, which is about disclaimer on transmission and translation. There are 3 parts on this article, which is first, a bank assumes no liability or responsibility for the consequences arising out of delay, loss in transit, mutilation, or other errors arising in the transmission of any message or delivery of letter or documents, when such message, letter, or documents are transmitted or sent according to the requirements stated in the credit, or when the bank may have taken the initiative in the choice of delivery service in the absence of such instruction in the credit. Second, if a nominated bank determines that a presentation is complying and forward the documents to the issuing bank or confirming bank, whether or not the nominated bank has honored or negotiate, an issuing bank or confirming bank must honor or negotiate or reimburse that nominated bank even when the document have been lost in transit between the nominated bank and the issuing bank or confirming bank, or between the confirming bank and the issuing bank. The last part is a bank assumes no liability or responsibility for error in translation or interpretation of technical terms and may transmit credit terms without translating them. Okay, for the next slide is about Article 36, which is about force majeure. In this article, stated that a bank assumes no liability or responsibility for the consequences arising out of the interruption of its businesses by act of God, riots, civil commotions, insurrection, wars, act of terrorists, or by any strike or lockout or any other causes beyond its control. Next, a bank will not, upon resumption of its business, honor or negotiate under a credit that expired during such interruption of its business. Okay, for the next is about Article 37, which is about disclaimer for act of an instructed party. Okay, in this article stated that a bank utilizing the services of another bank for the purpose of giving effect to the instruction of the applicant does so for the account and at the risk of the applicant. Next, an issuing bank or advising bank assumes no liability or responsibility should the instruction it transmit to another bank not be carried out, even if it has taken the initiative in the choice of that other bank. Third one, a bank instructing another bank to perform service is liable for any commission, fee, cost or expense incurred by the bank in connection with its instruction. If a credit states that charges are for the account of the beneficiary and charge cannot be collected or deducted from the proceeds, the issuing bank remains liable for payment of charge. A credit or amendment should not stipulate that the advising to a beneficiary is conditional upon the receipt by the advising bank or second advising bank of its charge. The last one about this Article 37 is the applicant shall be bound by and liable to indemnify a bank against all obligations and responsibilities imposed by forage law and usage. Okay, next is overview Article 38, which is about transferable credit. Okay, there are the purpose of this Article 38. The first one is transferable credit. Transferable credit means a credit that specifically states it is transferable. A transferable credit may be made available in whole or in part of another beneficiary, which is second beneficiary, at the request of the first beneficiary. The second one is transferring bank. Transferring bank means a nominated bank that transfer the credit or intercredit available with any bank, a bank that is specifically authorized by the issuing bank to transfer and that transfer the credit. An issuing bank may be a transferring bank also. The last one is transferred credit. Transferred credit means a credit that has been made available by the transferring bank to a second beneficiary. In this article stated that a bank is under no obligation to transfer a credit except to the extent and in the manner expressly consented to by that bank. Okay. Transferred credit must accurately reflect the term and condition of the credit, including confirmation. The next is second beneficiary documents may be sent to issuing bank if first beneficiary fails on first demand to present its invoice or rectify discrepancies in its invoice where such discrepancies did not exist in second bank invoice. Okay, here is a diagram about second beneficiary's document want to send the documents to the transferring bank. First one, second beneficiary should transfer his documents to the transferring bank, and then first beneficiary also have to send his draft and invoice to the transferring bank, and then document after substitution into the will transfer into the issuing bank. Okay, next. All charges relating to the transfer or for the account of first beneficiary. If letter of credit allows partial drawing or shipment, it can be transferred in part to more than one second beneficiary. Transferred letter of credit cannot be transferred to any subsequent beneficiary. It must determine the handling of subsequent amendments. Rejection of an amendment by one or more second beneficiary does not invalidate the acceptance by any other second beneficiary. Okay, here is allowable change in the transferable credit article. First is credit amount, unit price, expire date, period for presentation, latest shipment date, percentage of insurance coverage, and then first beneficiary's name may be a substitute for that of the applicant, and all project risks are under control. Okay, and the last in this article is honor or negotiation of transfer letter of credit may be in the second beneficiary's country. Okay, last but not least is the last article in UCP 600, which is Article 39. This article is about assignment of proceeds. Okay, in this Article 39 stated that the fact that a credit is not stated to be transferable shall not affect the right of the beneficiary to assign any proceeds to which it may be or may become entitled under the credit in accordance with of applicable law. Next, this article relates only to the assignment of proceeds and not to the assignment of the right to perform under the credit. Okay, for the next one is about UCP 600 commentary. which is there are around 5,000 comments received by the drafting group of UCP 600 during the revision process. This issue is included: should the word on its face remain within the UCP? Next, what was the value of the concept of reasonable time when there was no common standard for determining reasonableness globally? The next one, was there a need for an equivalent of UCP 500 Article 30 when the UCP Transport Document Article do not mention who is actually to issue the respective transport document? Okay. The next one is the objective of the documentary to elected the practitioner about the process behind the change in each article and to explain why a change was introduced, why no change was made, why some issues may appear new but are not, a clarification rather than a change, and to suggest the way the wording in UCP 600 should be understood and applied. Okay, the last one is the conclusion of UCP 600. The UCP 600 are rules and incorporate into every contract, and post-incorporation it has to be specifically outlined in trade finance contract. Some of the advantage of UCP 600 is its flexibility for the international party involved. An accompaniment to the UCP 600 is the International Standard Banking Practice for the examination of document under documentary credit, ISBP ICC Publication 745. It assists with understanding whether a document complies with the term of letter of credit. Credit that are issued and covered by UCP 600 will be interpreted in line with the entire set of 39 articles contained in UCP 600. However, exception to the rules can be made by express modification or exclusion. So that is the end of our group 8 and our group presentation on UCP 600. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to visit our Facebook page, International Trade and Finance Group A, Topic 6. Thank you again.